Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I do with the overabundance of fall leaves that I have on my property. Well, welcome to my YouTube channel, 90% Native. My name is Michelle and I grow native plants and I garden for the wildlife. So I have a very wooded lot. I have oak trees, I have tulip poplars, I have cherries, I have tons of trees, and I get tons of fall leaves. And one of the reasons why I'm telling you or giving you these tips to manage your leaves is because the most important thing that I try to do is conserve all the leaves that fall on my property and leave them as is as much as possible, and also get them into an area where they're going to be useful, because in those fall leaves are hibernating insects and moths and butterflies, and when you leave the leaves in your wooded areas, that's all habitat. There's no reason to clean up your woods, because when those leaves start to decay and decompose, that is going to feed the soil that then feeds all of your trees. So if you're removing all the leaves from your woodland floor, then you're removing some of the food for those trees. So I have an overabundance of leaves, and actually I have some of my neighbors who bag their leaves, and I go get those leaves and use them for various things. So first, I am going to show you my front yard and maybe around some of the backyard beds a little bit, so that you can see how when I mow my lawn, I blow the leaves with the lawnmower to the wooded edges. And that again is for two reasons. The first of which is for the insect habitat and for the hibernating insects. And the second, you can use those leaves and move those leaves around so that you can create new garden beds. So come along with me and I'm going to show you. Okay guys, so we are coming around to my front yard, and this is it. And I'm using a very wide angle lens here on my GoPro. So this grassy area actually probably looks a lot bigger than what it is. I have been making it smaller and smaller every year. Like this, a lot of this was grass, and then over here, this is a huge part that I did last year. And then you'll see all of these leaves going down to the road. So before, this area was grass all the way to like maybe 2 feet in front of the tree. So this area was all grass. And what I did is I used a combination of, manually raking the leaves, because you can see that a lot of them are whole. But I also use, because I have so many, as you can see, my wooded lot, I'll use the lawnmower to blow them. I figured out how to use the lawnmower so that I can blow them instead of crunch them down into pieces. Like sometimes they do get crunched down, or a lot, that's going to happen. But if you're kind of corralling the leaves with your lawnmower or your tractor, using like the blower to do that, then you can get a lot of the full leaves in here without breaking up and crunching up the leaves. So anyway, back here was all grass. Last year, oh, that's Violet back there. Last year, I covered the whole area with the leaves, and it killed all the grass. Now, I am a big proponent of leave the leaves. Like, I would love for everybody to leave the leaves, or not necessarily leave the leaves, but in the grassy areas, gently move them if you can to the wooded areas and the garden beds. But I can tell you with 100% certainty that if you put that amount of leaves over top of the ground, you are going to kill the grass. So I know a lot of the materials out there with leave the leaves say that if you just leave them, that it won't kill the grass. Well, if you have a lot like I do with all these enormous trees, that will kill the grass. So my suggestion is to gently move them to the side, to the wooded areas, and to make bigger beds if you want. And then you don't even need to use cardboard and wood chips. This whole area that I did is purely just leaves that were, this area right here is purely leaves that have killed the grass underneath. I put a lot of plants in here. I think you may know, I'll talk about that more in future videos, but yes, this is just corralling my leaves over to this side. And doesn't it look pretty? I mean, as opposed to just a blank slate of brown, you have all the different colors of the fall leaves in there. And in the spring, you know how many moths and butterflies are going to come out of those leaves and be in your landscape, which is fantastic. Good morning, guys. I am taking this video a few days after I recorded the majority of this video, and I realized a couple things. I forgot to show you one of the beds, and then also I wanted to explain something. Okay, so over here, I just wanted to show you that I usually gently rake all the leaves up into this bed. The other day when I had thought that I had pressed record and hadn't, this looked all nice, but it just goes to show you that as all of the leaves completely fall off of the trees, they end up going into this bed, and it usually looks very nice and neat. And then over here as well, I rake all these leaves up and into the patch. Okay guys, it's me again. I really wanted to show you guys what this area looked like when it is properly put to bed, because for all of my native plant friends out there who are looking to really try and keep a formal look but use native plants and garden for the wildlife, I wanted you to see that it can. This kind of usage of materials and natural materials can be used and look formal at the same time. So in the video that hopefully I'm going to put it back up, but that you saw before, you saw some leaves down here and here over here. I just lightly rake those up, put them in here. You can see how high this is, kind of. And then up there against the edge of my woodland. Nice and neat and clean for those of you who want a more formal look in your wildlife and native plant beds. You'll also see over here that a lot of the random leaves will fly into my ditch, and those I will also rake and lightly blow into the bigger bed over there. I wanted to explain something so that what I'm saying over the course of the years, you can see how maybe I am changing things a little bit. So when I first started dealing with leaves, I ground up a lot of them, and at that time I didn't realize that those leaves had butterflies and moths hibernating in them and all that kind of business. Okay, so then fast forward to the year where I realized that was going on. Then I just completely utterly stopped grinding any leaves, left them whole, and just let them decompose as they would naturally. And then now fast forward to this year, and now I'm taking a little bit of the leaves, a small percentage of the leaves, and grinding them up so that I can use them in my front beds like this, or to mulch anything that I don't want smothered. So I just wanted to explain a little bit, if you followed me throughout the years, so that you knew that, you know, the way I do things have changed over time. And on a side note, we have somebody burrowing in there again. Not sure what I'm going to do about that. Okay, and now to my cutting garden. I'll talk about this a little bit more in another video, but I just wanted to show you these beds get covered with leaves that I grind up. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I just wanted to show you that that's the top layer of mulch that I use before I put my my cutting garden, vegetable garden beds to bed. Okay, now I am going to take you down to my compost and show you what I've done there. So here underneath the trampoline, these are all the bagged leaves that I took from my neighbors. So I can use those to create new garden beds, to mulch bare areas in my woodland. Also, if I want to take a small portion of those to grind up for more formal mulch, I could do that, or to make leaf mold. So those are all there. Excuse my buckets, it's going to rain like crazy tomorrow, and I just want to capture as much water down here for my compost bin as possible. Okay, so if you're familiar, these are my compost bins. I use eco bins, and I'll link those below. I really love them. I really like my little 3-bin system. I have compost here that I am working on. This is compost that was finished and it's almost gone. I've almost used it all up. And then here is compost that will be ready for me next spring. So what I have here are 2 bags of leaves from my neighbors, and I'll be just leaving those there so that whenever I put greens down into this bin, that's the working bin, then I can cover it with, I can do a layer of browns as well. So this is really great for your compost, and especially because browns are on the harder side to find sometimes. Before I talk about grinding any leaves, I wanted to show you how massive my driveway is and my driveway area is, and then all the trees that I have over top of it. So a lot of the leaves here, and again, this is a wide angle lens, so it looks bigger than what it actually is, but I still get a massive amount of leaves here. So I blow probably 90% of them over to the side, and then maybe 5 to 10% of them I grind up, and I'll talk to you about that next. Okay, so now about grinding up leaves. Again, I like to grind as few leaves as possible because of the moths and the butterflies, but I have such an excess of leaves that I do take a little bit for myself. And here is my deck, and my deck, like my driveway, is pretty big. So we get tons and tons of leaves here. You can see the trees in the background. I mean, really and truly, I have been out here probably 6 times with this deck fully covered. So typically what I would do is I just take my battery operated leaf blower, which I'll show you and link below, and I just gather all the leaves up and head them out that way. So behind my grill is a staircase down, and I'll just blow them out that way and blow them around so that they can decompose there in place and feed, you know, all my shrubs, native shrubs and bushes and things like that. Now, maybe once or twice I will, throughout the season, I will actually gather up the leaves and I will grind them. And I use this guy right here. It's a Works leaf grinder. It has been absolutely essential for me, and it does a really good job. Now, it's not going to do sticks or anything like that, so don't think you're getting like something to mulch up sticks and branches. That's not what this is for. This is purely for leaves, and it basically works like a weed whacker. There are strings in the barrel here, and I'll show you that whip around and chop up the leaves. So what you do is I have had 1 roll of lawn bags for 5 or 6 years now, and I reuse the bags over and over and over again until they're falling apart. I don't like to use plastic, but I think I really get a workout on these. Like you can see, this one is all all sorts of ripped up. You just have this frame right here. You put your bag in, wrap it around the top of the metal frame. Then you put this part, the chopper part, on top here. See, this is still my bag of plastic. I mean, I've used like 5 bags, 5 years. And then I love these, I guess they're like leaf grabbers. I'll link them below. Like, I love these things. I use them. They're indispensable during the fall. So anyway, put your hands in there and then you just scoop up the leaves, put them in here. I like to wear a mask and gloves because dust does come out, and I don't want anything to come out of there and hit my eyes either. Grinds it up, and then when you have a full bag, you have a full bag of ground up, chopped up leaves that you can then use to mulch your garden beds. You can use it for leaf mold if you wanted. You can just use whole leaves for that as well. But a lot of the the ground up leaves that I use for covering bare areas in my front yard garden beds, the ones that the neighbors see. I use it to cover my raised bed garden beds, which I showed you. Really just anywhere where I want a little more formality or something that's not going to make a complete mat over the surface, or where I want the materials to be able to decompose faster than a full oak leaf, let's say. Here's another look at the Works grinder. You have the frame. I put the bag in and folded it over the frame. And then inside here, you have these guys, which you can easily buy this grinder and then these on Amazon. So really easy to do. And then just another look at the leaf grabbers. Just such a handy tool to have, especially if you have a lot of leaves. For the after product for the leaves, this is what you're gonna get in the grinder. And as you can see there, the leaves are a lot smaller, and you could actually grind these twice if you wanted to do that. One year I did, and I did get a much smaller grind, but I really don't want to spend the time on that. So yeah, so this is the after product. This is right here, 2 bags, and I think I ground up a total of 4 this year. So yeah. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot to show you guys the what is it called? The leaf blower. Right here, this is the charger, Greenworks Pro. And then let me take you outside to show you the actual blower. And here you go. Oopsie. Okay. That's the little leaf blower that I use. Little Greenworks Pro 60 volt lithium battery. I would definitely recommend getting multiple batteries when you start using these battery appliances. There's the battery. It doesn't last as long as I'd like it to. That might just be because it's old and we've had it for like 3 or 4 years. So definitely a good option. It's the only battery powered leaf blower that I've used. I like it when the battery runs out. Since I only have 1 battery, I just use the rake, and that is my exercise. So yeah, that is what I use. Finally, if you are still shopping for Christmas gifts for gardeners on your list, or you are a gardener who needs to add some more items to your list, I will link to my website below where I have all of my favorite items linked, and you can just easily take a look at those and grab a link if you wanted to. Any links that you use of mine will not cost you any more money. Also, there's nothing you need to do to sign up or anything like that to use my links, and it just really helps to support my channel. So again, I'll have links below and links on my website for my tried and true gardening things that I really love. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me here. I really appreciate you taking your time. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and happy gardening.